I'm live and I didn't realize I was live. Okay.
That's okay. The countdown
Kevin, I'll
drowned
ask
everything
you
out.
to share on socials, I guess. I was just going to run to do that. Oh my God. Okay, let's let some people get in here first, but I'm extremely excited. Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be right now? Oh my God. All right. Anyway, I'm dressed for success. And I have a beer, and I was going to be like, oh, I'll crack it open if we hit $10,000. Well, we did like a minute ago. Oh man, are we able to see? Okay, comments. Okay, there's some comments. Okay. Oh, hey, Fred, Javier, Mike, good to see you all. Okay. Oh, I see there's private chat and there's comments. Okay. Sorry, been a minute since I've used StreamYard. All right. Hello, everybody. Okay. Yeah, of course I'm going to join the chat. Why not? I want to join the chat. Connect your YouTube account now. I do that. Hi, Nicholas. Yeah, okay, we're going to allow just a couple minutes for people to show up. Nat Webb will join us a little later. He's got to put his child to bed or some bullshit. I don't know why that takes priority. And I'm going to be leaping back and forth between the Discord and here for a minute, which is going to be a little silly. Okay, so good question.
Yes.
Zephon is asking a question about like where the comments are at.
Literally
hello,
just
Nicholas
a couple
Perez.
minutes
Thank you for
before
joining us
we
through
hit...
the right link once somebody smarter than me shared it. Sorry, Kevin, what?
Yeah, I'm just sharing. Nicholas Diak just pointed out, congrats on 10K.
Yeah, holy crap, 10K. David Lynch, hello. Samson, hey, good to see you. Quorum, hey, thanks for making it. Yeah. Oh my God, there's so much happening, everyone. There's so much happening. I have a checklist of like places to share the campaign that I started working on at 8 a.m. and I haven't been able to finish it because so much keeps happening. I haven't even shared it on like the Sword and Sorcery Reddit or like all these places that like do matter, but I just things keep occurring and throwing me. It's so wild what today's been like. I really can't believe it. Okay, we're gonna keep letting people like pile in for a few minutes. I haven't even. I don't think I've even. Oh my God! Sorry, everybody. Oh my God! There's so much happening. I'm gonna go to here.
Just a word of advice to anyone who
I know
clicked
watching
on
someone like
stream...
use a computer is really compelling.
Sorry, just wanted to say, because we have someone here, for anyone who clicked through the StreamYards link, that was a mistake shared by Oliver. That actually gives you privately into the green room, which is fine. It's not like we got anything scandalous going on. But in case you're wondering, oh, what's happening? Please meet us on the Backerkit page instead, or the YouTube link.
Sorry, I'm just letting some people know that this is happening. It's all been very fast, and I have a little puppy that needs a lot of attention, so that's also been a challenge today. Oh my God! But yeah, 10,000 friggin' dollars. Thank you, everybody, so much. I'm gonna crack open my little milk chocolate stout here. It's a little favorite of mine. Really begun into stouts this last year. I don't know what happened, but something in me changed deep inside and got a little more stout. Cheers. Again, thank you, everybody. Please do not be shy. If you want to ask questions or throw stuff at us. Actually, I see Nicholas has a question for Kevin, so let's see how that goes.
Oh, whoops. No, there we go. Yes, this is from Steady Clothing. Yes, it is a tiki design. I have multiple Steady Clothing shirts. I suspect you will see me rotate through them for any of our rest of our live streams.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna probably go. I always sort of vary wildly between like casual and like wanting to wear a suit or something. I don't know what's wrong with me. We'll see what happens. I'll probably wear. I've got like a sunflower black and white shirt that I really like, actually, with a collar. I'll probably wear for the telethon. That's gonna be interesting. I wonder what I'll wear for the telethon, because that'll be the big party on the back end. But right now, this is a big party on the front end. And where are we at now? My God, are we still 10,117 now? 223 backers, like, oh my God. Okay, and let me. Oh geez, I'm trying to do too much. But again, I'm so excited, everyone. This is what I've been like all day. I've been like, It's just like a kid who's just snorted like 5 pixie sticks, and every time he thinks, okay, I've had enough pixie sticks, I'm gonna finally lie down and like have a nap, more pixie sticks get rammed in front of me. I'm really grateful to everyone for everything, which like the backing and the sharing, and also the community tab, right, on Backerkit. The more like commenting and posting and just general interaction on there, voting in the poll. We have a poll right now on the community tab for your favorite Jarell Jory story. Voting on that. Okay, sorry, 10 points for the blow the bladed doors off. Thank you for that. Everything does happen so much so times. Horse ebooks reference, love it. Molly, hello. We've got Molly Tanzer here. We'll have to patch you into the feed soon. But for now, I will continue to blather exuberantly. Yeah. So we're on the main page of Backerkit right now, and backers and dollars obviously help with that. But it was really stressed to me by Backerkit because they're really cool. They help set you up for success. I had basically like a Backerkit representative that I was in touch with while planning this whole thing, and they were like, "Yeah, community tab activity is the main thing that gets you on the main page." Which is great because it means like scrappy little underdogs can get on there, not just like huge, usually board game monolithic companies or whatever, right? So here we are, scrappy underdog, etc. Thank you so much for getting us on that main page, which helps us be discovered by new backers. And I can tell a lot of the time when we have a new backer, not just by like seeing a name that maybe I don't remember, but also because since we have issues 1 and 2 as add-ons, it's very fun to see people like being essentially like double backers because they get 3 and 4, and then they go, oh, hey, I want to get caught up. I'll get 1 and 2. And of course, nobody would do that if they backed us last year. So it's an easy indicator of seeing like who's new to the party. But of course, returning backers are greatly valued. Why wouldn't they be, right? And that's partly why we have the returning backer art sticker that goes with the flash fiction on the sticker page, which is just one of the ridiculous things that we have planned for this. We've been planning this arguably since last year, but with more intention since I want to say September, Kevin. I think I threw up the sticker page idea. That was one of the early things.
That seems about right. Yes.
Yeah, something like September. I was like, what if we did stickers? And then other things like the art tuckerization, which it's already claimed both faces for the story that Simon Underwood will be illustrating, which I don't mind revealing, will be John Foltz's story. So that's cool. The two people who grab that will get to have their faces given to extras basically in one of the scenes that will be illustrated. I say one of because I'm optimistic. I'm hoping we will hit double art, our first stretch goal. I really want to do that again. But even if it's only one illustration, we'll figure out how to get those two faces in there. So that'll be kind of fun, right? Like those two backers will send in like photo reference, and then Simon Underwood will do his thing and make a couple of characters in the art look like those people. I really think I'm going to have to spend some time in the next couple of days going back over the manuscripts because guess what? I have manuscripts for every single story, all at various stages of editing, some of them completely finished and proofed. We are miles ahead of where we were this time last year, so that's great. Yeah. So what I was saying was, I'm gonna have to go over the manuscripts and be like, can we get a crowd scene in here? Something like that. It's like Conan entered a football match. I don't know, whatever. Like every single story now is gonna have like a gladiatorial arena scene or whatever, and we'll just like fill the audience with more faces as a craven attempt at getting more funding. I kid, but I mean we may add one more if I can find something that does not feel craven, because that's the whole thing, right? Like if it's fun and it doesn't feel ridiculous or crass, maybe is the word I'm looking for, then why not do it, right? But yeah, I'm really, really, really happy that we have the art tuckerization in there. We have the first backer prize, which the first backer is in the UK. Carl, bless him, pulled it off. And he respectfully asked to find out what that prize would be like later when he's actually conscious, because it's midnight in England right now. So I will respect that. I will not reveal the first backer prize, but I will let you all know. Coming back to that community tab, there is a backer ranking. I don't set it; it's automatic by Backerkit, and it has nothing to do with how much you spend. It is entirely with how active you are on the community tab. So basically, whoever is like the biggest like community, connector, mover, shaker, chatter, whatever you want to call it, and by the end of the campaign, they will get a prize of soft covers for issues 3 and 4, which will be annotated either with post-it notes or on the page if the backer is into me doing that by me. with just as many little behind the scenes kind of, if you remember pop-up video type things, DVD extra observations, whatever you want to call it, right? Marginalia, it's a $10 word for it. Marginalia by me just being like, hey, here's where we made this artistic decision, or here's where this happened. And I was really surprised because I was expecting blah, that kind of thing. Just fun behind the scenes notes, as many as I can think of throughout both soft covers that I will then personally mail to that top community backer. So there is a genuine incentive to be active in the community page for yourself, as well as for helping us stay relevant and perfectly on the main page of Backerkit.com, where we currently are. It still blows my mind. I was really hoping we'd do that. So that is fantastic. Nicholas, I am a big dummy. What is a Gantt chart? I do not know what that means. But yes, Conan would be a heavy hitter. He would be a good hockey player, I think. Whew. Yes. What else? Because I haven't even put everything. Geez, Oliver, I haven't even put everything in the campaign page that we have planned. I actually had it loaded with more stuff a couple of days ago, and then just in trying to explain all of it to someone in a phone call, I realized or a progress charts. Yeah, right. Sorry, that's what Nicholas was referring to. I'm not familiar with the term Gantt chart, but yes, I should share in an update soon. Maybe tonight, maybe probably tomorrow. I will share the current chart. Always, I clip the authors' names out because I don't want to shame anybody for being at different stages, whatever. But it's fun to show the little green bars moving left to right, like I did last year, to give you all progress, or where we're at. And you'll see we're doing pretty well. I don't know if it's easy to put a percentage to it, but ballpark, let's say we're past 50% done with the writing, which is great. There's not, aside from the cover art, which I got made in advance for the obvious reasons that it makes things more exciting and interesting. We have no interior art yet. All of the art that you see on the campaign page are samples from either the artist portfolios or even from work they did for us last year when they're returning artists. Because we're just not going to start any of the art until we cross 100% minimum funding. When we do that, that's going to be like the starter pistol. Bang, I'm going to reach out to all the artists and be like, hey, everybody, let's get started on, the title page illustrations, and hopefully we'll hit double art, and then I'll ask them to do, a secondary interior illustration. Or even more art than that, right? Because we have a couple of double-length stories. That's something different this year. We're experimenting with having one novelette length, which is basically around 12,000 in this case, length stories. One of them. Oh, hey, Nat. Nat's having trouble. We should help him out. Kevin, if you don't mind running tech support on that. But yes, what was I saying? Art, stretch goals. Yes, novelettes. So issue 3, the novelette story, is, of course, Molly Tanzer's magnificent new Jarell story, Jarell and the Mirror of Truth. I've read it. I love it. I know I'm in sales pitch mode, whatever, right now, right? But trust me, I know what it's like to be told something's amazing by someone in sales pitch mode, and then you get it, and you're kind of like, So I would not big it up the same way, let's say. For some reason, I didn't think it was that great. But whatever. It's fantastic. And being twice the length, right? Because our average story roof is 6,000 words, so 12,000 words. Default, that story is going to get 2 illustrations. And if we get double art, 4 illustrations. 4 illustrations for a story. I would love that. The amount of almost movie director care we could take with picking scenes and moments to portray when we have 4 pieces of art to work with. Oh, I really hope we get that. And then in issue 4, what's going to be the double-length story there? It is going to be a new Orhan the Snow Leopard tale by Dario Kyog. The title escapes me because I'm a big tired dummy. The word battle is in it. It's a big war kind of story, I'll tell you that much. But that will be the other one. So we'll have Orhan in 2 or maybe 4 illustrations, hopefully. And the artists for those stories have been chosen. I'm still kind of shuffling some pairings, but the 2 big stories, I've chosen them. For the Jarell story, that was easy. It's going to be Saprofile, who illustrated Gemma Files' tale in issue 2 last year. But also she is still doing, I think, some of the art for the Black God's Kiss tabletop role-playing game setting, which is where I actually first became aware of her art. So of course, the Jarell role-playing game, artist is going to be doing the art for Jarell in the new Jarell story. So that's just Chef's Kiss all comes together. When Chefs kiss by slamming their hands together. Chefs are weird the way they kiss. Anyway, and in issue 4, Yes, I think that might be the first time I've said the title publicly outside of, I think Molly, we mentioned it in the Rogues interview. Anyway, whatever. So the artist for the Orhan, the Snow Leopard story, Double X story, will be Goran Gligovic, which a lot of you, I think, probably know his name. He's a very talented guy who's known for having done the art for the Black Hack role-playing game, and has also something else he's really known for is he did basically like mock screenshots from like an imaginary Elric animated series, as well as an Earthsea one, and I think a third series I'm forgetting. Anyway, those got shared around a lot online, so maybe you saw those and you know who Goran Gligovic is. Otherwise, I would say just Google him and check out his art because he's fantastic, and it was not a hard decision to reach out to him about doing some illustrations for us. So yeah, that's some exciting stuff. I literally have to go back to our campaign page and be like, what the hell else am I doing? There's so much that we're doing. Let me see. Well, let me read my own stupid campaign page that I spent a long time on. Harry Turtledove. You're going to get a historical adventure, rooted sword and sorcery story by Harry Turtledove. That's very exciting. I've been reading him on and off since I was like a teenager, so it feels so cool to get to work with him. To say nothing of all our other magnificent authors. I might as well rattle through their names real quick now. We've got John Arfaltz, Thomas Ha, Matt John, Kirk Johnson, Preeny Mohammed, Jeremy Pack Nelson, Jonathan Olfert, June Orchid Parker, coming back at you. Daryl Keogh, as I mentioned, Zach Rosenberg, Molly Tanzer, say it again, say it loud. And we will have a reprinted obscure Elric Tale by Michael Moorcock. It's not a new one like last year, but it is one that was not included in the saga, complete quote unquote collection. No shade, I literally own those books, but just it's not quite technically complete. So a story that was not included in that collection, with new illustrations by Sapro again, who did such a wonderful job last year illustrating Elric. And then for nonfiction, there's yours truly, of course. I'll be doing a couple of interviews. One will be a transcribed episode of So I'm Writing a Novel. Another will be a whole new interview, just done by email, but back and forth between me and the person I'm interviewing. Then there's essays and reviews and whatnot from Craig Lawrence Gidney, Bryn Hammond, Robin Marks, Doris V. Sutherland, and Jay Wolfe. So yeah, that's the author roster. Artists, almost too many to mention, but they are also very important to us, and that's why I've credited them all. If you look below the art samples, you'll find that's like the caption on the main page in alphabetical order, just all of our artists. I'm very happy to have every single one of them, as you can imagine. And then our stretch goals are pretty straightforward this year. I just want to keep it real, neat and narrow. So first one is double art. That's self-explanatory. The second one is an international shipping discount, because I know shipping is hard when you are ordering from outside the States. So if we get to the international shipping discount, that is like a pot of money that I will use to give people $5 off, $5 off shipping if you're in Canada, $10 US off shipping if you live literally anywhere else in the world outside of North America, or the Canada and America part of North America. So I really want to make that happen so that hopefully some of the people who feel like they're stuck with digital backing because money, can maybe go, oh, okay, actually now I can get physical. So that would be really cool. And then from that point onward, I decided to keep it a lot simpler than last year. Last year we had all these crazy stretch goals that were kind of exciting, and some of them were below the pay raises, some of them were above the pay raises. This time I just thought, let's keep it simple, double art, shipping discount, and then hopefully those two things will help inspire people to back more and, kind of thing, to drive us up through alternating author pay raise, artist pay raise, author pay raise, artist pay raise, with no roof on that. I list, a pair of each on the campaign page because it'd be tedious if I listed them literally forever. But yeah, there's no roof on that. The math for it is relatively easy for me to calculate. So we'll just keep hopefully being able to pay people more and more. That's kind of cool too, right? And then what else we got? Geez, Oliver. Well, we've got the sticker page, like I mentioned. The sticker page is really fun. I don't remember what exactly got me there back in September, but I think it was just me wanting to do something a little wilder than the thank you page we did last year for backers. So this is kind of our thank you to backers because it's only available to backers, right? And then it's going to be like a piece of flash fiction around 650 words. It's going to be art for that flash fiction for returning backers. All backers get the flash fiction. All physical tier backers, I should stress, because you got to have a physical magazine to put the sticker in. And then anybody who backs in the first 48 hours gets an illustrated cocktail recipe, which is something we started last year. That Kevin is quite excellent at brewing up interesting SNS theme recipes for us. If you are not a returning backer, or if you miss the first 48 hours and you're like, geez, I want those stickers, you can get them as add-ons. So they're also available there. We don't want to make those Too exclusive. Exclusive to backers is good enough for me. And then, as if all that wasn't enough, geez, Oliver, you can see what I'm saying about how we couldn't even put everything in because, like, if we did, it would be so much. Gosh and golly, what else is there? Oh, yes, there's unlockable rewards, right? So if you go to our community tab, we should actually maybe link this in the chat. Kevin, if you don't mind, I don't know if you're not too engaged right this second, maybe grab the link for the 25 Facebook shares equals a free bonus story. So yeah, I have some stories I'm really proud of that I just want to like share with y'all. So there's one called Something Oath-like, which features my big Warhammer wielding woman, Vo, who you may have heard me talk about on my podcast. Yeah, so I've got a 2,500 word story with her that if 25 people share the campaign through the button that keeps track of the shares, which is how we know, on our community tab area, whatever, then yep, that's a story that everybody will get in digital format. And then same thing for Twitter. If everybody shares through Twitter, through the community post for this thing, again, we'll link in the chat. Then there's a story with my other character I'm very happy with, Losta, which is kind of my like sword and sorcery Bjork. Yep, so that story, Hunter, is 2,200 words, and I really love it. And then if we hit 500 backers, there's another bonus story with Losta, a longer one, almost 6,000 words, called Pagan Poetry, that I love to death. I figured her out a bit in Hunter, and then I wrote Pagan Poetry, and I just pushed the boundaries of what I felt like I could do in a story, and I love it, and I hope we hit 500 backers so I can share all that with you. And now here's one that I love to bits. Is Nat with us yet? Sorry, Kevin, how's that going?
Yeah, I'm just having to log in, so just bear with me.
No worries. Sorry, I don't want to make you feel chased. I'm literally just checking in because I've been off of my own universe talking about what's in the campaign. Yes, where was I? Yes, so 500 backers gets us Pagan Poetry, a third short story in digital format for everybody. 666 backers, which honestly could happen. We're already closing in on like 220, 225, I think. Yeah. Let's hope we get another backer soon so we keep the backer train going. That's fun. Backer train I'll talk about in a second. There's all these Backerkit things. So many new pieces moving around. But yes, if we get 666 backers, not a joke. Nat Webb, our layout design guy, will get a tattoo with the New Edge. Can I point at it? Yes, there it is. With the New Edge Sword and Sorcery logo. He pitched that to me months ago. I did not bully him. He was like, hey, man, I really want to get a tattoo of the Windgraph logo, right? His Cozy Fantasy magazine, which is a perfect circle, right? And he's like, what? And I really like the Nest logo. And like, what if I got both tattoos? And like, what if we tied it to the campaign and like made it a fun thing? So yeah, not a joke. It will not be paid for out of campaign funds. Don't worry. And I presumably Nat will document it with photos or even video, who knows, of him getting the tattoo. Stakes of Purgatory, he himself will get the tattoo. That is correct. Nat Webb will get the tattoo. So bless him for offering up his very flesh for the magazine, as well as the magazine. So if anybody doubted his dedication to indie publications, to Indie Pub, I mean, how could you? The man's offering up his very skin. So yeah, that's really cool. I'm sure I will hoot and holler loudly about it when we get closer to 666 backers. Again, it felt a little wild when I chose the number. Obviously, you can tell why I chose that number. But I'm going back to the campaign page here again, watching a guy browse computer. I know we're at 224 backers. Like, we might hit 666. I don't want to guarantee anything because that feels like hubris, but it also just doesn't feel that wacky after the day we've had to say that. Thank you, Kevin. So, yep, there's the community link there. If anybody wants to check it out and maybe go share, because I would love it if we could maybe unlock one of those free stories, the Facebook or the Twitter one, for sharing tonight. That'd be great. Yeah, I was going to say we could like hit 50% tonight, but we did that at 4:30. That was my wildest, like, reasonable dream. I mean, obviously my fantasies, I don't know, Brandon Sanderson comes by and like drops $1 million on our heads, whatever, right? But in my like, reasonable fantasies, like maybe it'll happen if we're really lucky. I hoped we would get 50% sometime during this very live stream, but it happened by 4:30 today. And then I was like, it wouldn't be wacky if we hit 10,000 sometime before I would go to bed tonight. Oh, we hit it like literally the moment before we went into this live stream. Like, I don't want to be like, let God himself try to strike me down, but yes, I defy the gods, and you have all helped me do that. So thank you. Gosh, what else is there? There's the tattoo, and what else? Yeah, I mentioned the first backer prize. I can't say what it is, but there was a first backer prize, and I think I'm going to make that a tradition if we get to keep doing this, which I hope we do. And then, yes, the annotated issues, I talked about that. Good Lord, I think I actually did it. I think I did it. I think I got through all the campaign page like wackiness. For those of you who haven't already looked or wanted to look, we do have some add-ons. The add-ons are the stickers I mentioned in case you're not returning your first 48-hour backer. We also have add-ons for digital and softcover editions of 1 and 2, including discounted pairings. So if you want to get like all caught up, if you just are joining us this year, you can do that pretty nice and easy. Yeah, what else? Oh, I added issue 2 hardcovers because people were looking for those. I'm afraid issue 1 hardcover is completely sold out, which only highlights and underlines the fact that the Kickstarter is really the best time to get a hardcover because the print run of those is much more limited and it is prohibitively expensive to reprint them. You have to print a lot of copies of something to make it affordable. And the magic trick we pulled to make the hardcovers affordable in a lower print run is that their interior is identical to the soft covers, right? And so that the way traditional printing works does make it possible for us to do a reasonably modest hardcover print run while getting as many overall copies plus the soft covers as we need to not have to sell them for like $80 an issue or something stupid. So it's kind of funny, right? Because here I am, lucky me, I've got my hardcover of number 1, and this is it. If this gets destroyed, I don't have a copy. So it has made me a little more precious about my precious hardcover here. Just for those of you who are maybe not familiar, yeah, it comes in hardcover. Oh boy, look at that. It lays flat. I love that. Just lays flat, perfectly happy. And trying to get on camera here. Of course, yeah, bookmark ribbons. Those were not a sure thing last year. They were a stretch goal we didn't hit, but I looked into it and we found a bit of extra money. We sold some ad space and we got bookmark ribbons, and we just want to make that like standard from this point onward. They're just too fun not to have. Nicholas, you are not wrong. I do actually have a little vanity square on my big crappy IKEA bookshelf, but I hope to at some point, upgrade and have like, the publication shelf, right? Like everything I've ever written and had published, or somebody else has written and I published it. I think that'd be really nice. Well, Jay, here's the thing, right? So as the publisher, I get the first advance copies, and I'd like to think I've earned it. And I'm so worried this earbud's gonna fall out. Sorry, that's why I keep fiddling. Anyway, so I get doubles of the hardcovers and doubles of the softcovers. Nicholas, I will have to take a photo and do that later. It's in the living room. it's not in this office, weirdly, but I will. But yeah, Javier, yeah, you want to like plastic CGC your hardcover so you can never read them again. But for real, like the issue 1 hardcover is kind of a collector's item. I can tell you guys exactly 130 were printed. 125 was the print run, but then sometimes you get overage, and we did, and I'm glad we did. And then on top of that, I guess so literally 132 were printed because I myself get my advanced copy times 2. So here's what happens, right? Is I took my doubles of my hardcovers and I donated them to the Merrill collection of science fiction and fantasy and speculative fiction. I always mess it up. It's such a long name. I've been volunteering for that place for years. But yeah, a lot of you probably heard me mention this before. The Merrill collection is the Western Hemisphere's largest publicly accessible archive of SFF. You just have to have a library card. You don't have to be a member of a university or some other special organization to go there. They have over 80,000 items of all kinds of incredible historical pulps and rare editions and all that kind of stuff. And so I really wanted to preserve the magazine in a way separate from myself. So even if I get hit by a truck and my apartment gets burned down to the ground, there will be nice hardcovers of Ness, all the issues that we have had released so far, 0, 1, and 2, in this archive that's like, carefully climate controlled, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's what I did with my hardcover advance bonus copies. And my bonus soft covers I gave to a friend who couldn't afford to back us last year. So I just, I wanted to be nice and give them my extra soft covers. We'll see what happens next time, though, because Bless and the Merrill said they want to start buying the issues from us. So I will actually have doubles of my hardcovers for these issues, assuming we fund. Who knows? See, there you go, right? This is what happens. I have like a little meter of confidence that just keeps going wee back and forth from like we're going to conquer the universe. I dare God themselves to stop us. And then me being like, well, maybe if we fund, I don't know. Even though, where are we at right now? I got to look. Yeah, 10,385. Holy crap. All right. The archive is the Merrill collection. I'm going to look it up for you. Because it has a longer name that I always mess up. The Merrill collection of science fiction, speculation, and fantasy. I have been a volunteer with something called the Friends of Merrill. Join the chat. Okay. I have to connect my YouTube account. Well, all right. I guess I will do that. Sorry, everyone, just a moment. Then I can give you that link. This is loading very slowly. Yep. Load in. Oliver. Almost there, folks. Sorry. Yep. Oliver. Continue. Yep. Sorry, I have to accept like 5 things here for it to let me go into the chat. And then I will give you the link for the Merrill collection. StreamYard is moving slowly. This is being recorded, for those who are wondering. Okay, there we go. This comment has failed to post. Oh my god, why? You know what? I'm going to put it in the Discord and ask whoever wants to put it in the thing. Oh, it looks like we have Brian Murphy watching. Awesome. Okay, back I come to here. Question. Is the sticker that comes with the sticker art for Flash Fiction add-on the same sticker you get for being a backer in the first 48 hours? Good question. Yes. Yes, it is. It is the exact same sticker. I included it as an add-on. I suppose I could have waited until day 3. So my mistake. Pardon me. But I just, I was setting everything up in advance, so I just put it there, even though for the first 2 days it's unnecessary. At the same time as I was setting up the return one. So yes, it will be the exact same art. Yep. What else is there? Gosh, we have other add-ons and things that we're going to unveil as the campaign goes along if certain metrics are hit. We have kind of hidden things, but I want to tell you about them now. It's hard.
Well, we won't say specifically what, but one of the unlocks is for hardcover buyers, correct?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's true. Let's vague post to use the term. Yeah. Okay. So I don't mind saying that one of the secret unlockables, if we hit a certain point, I'll reveal it when we get there. If we hit a certain point, the hardcovers will have an additional enhancement. So much like the bookmark ribbon, it'll be something that makes them a more beautiful physical object. I'm not going to say what that is because I want it to be a fun surprise. But yeah, so there'll be that. There'll be another reason to want to get the hardcovers. And the other thing is hard to say what it is without giving it away. It's not a book enhancement. It's like a fun, just additional thing that will include with all of the physical formats. Yep. It's not a sticker, but it's kind of in the same universe as the sticker page. That's as specific as I can get. Bounding human leather. Well, I mean, I know I said Nat's putting skin in the game for us if we hit 666 backers, but I don't know if it's that much skin. By the way, I'm just going to go to our secret Nest channel because I'm very curious to see. Okay, just sending a little message to the other 2 members of our staff, Nat and Val. We'll see if they're able to join us. They have children, so they have more obligations than we do. That is a kind offer. That's a very kind offer.
You're the best fans ever, New Edge fans.
Yeah, I know,
best fans ever.
What kind of add-on can we give in return for some skin? I don't know. Okay. All right. I think I've said as much as I can say for now about all our wacky options and so on. Molly Tanzer, are you still here? Let us know in the chat if you are. because we did talk about possibly having you barge in if you wanted to on the video. Anyway, well, maybe Molly's gone. Oh, hello, Molly. Oh shit, Nat Webb is here. Okay. Well, let's get Beardy in here. This is new. I don't think I've seen you since the beard came in.
It's it's longer than ever before, probably, which is not saying much, but there it is.
Hey man. So yeah, you guys are now seeing Nat's workshop. This is where the layout happens. And yeah, Nat, is it possible for you, without causing yourself like emotional problems, to move your camera to show off what you showed me the other night that you have like on your ceiling for inspiration?
It's definitely too late on the emotional problems, so we can just go for it.
Yeah, all right, let's go for it. Okay.
All right, turning around, you can see my office as we go. Yeah, there we go. So I've got what Oliver is referring to is I've got this poster that I picked up somewhere.
All right, Molly, we'll get to you in 2 seconds. We just want to show this off.
That has got all the covers of Dungeon and Dragon magazine from the Paizo era. So from 2000 something until when they stopped running it. And this is tacked up to my wall above my computer monitors. I can't really tell if I'm showing it off. Yeah, there you go.
You are. Yeah, that's good enough. We can see.
All right. So this hangs on the wall above my monitors. So as I was saying to Oliver the other day, whenever I'm trying to make a layout or cover design decision, basically I just look up like this, and I have 100 issues of Dragon and Dungeon staring down at me that I can basically rip off or take inspiration from, draw artistic inspiration from. Yeah. And then if I need actual inspiration, then behind me I basically have a big ass wall of D&D books, and then on that side, I don't know if you can really see it, but I have like a bunch of swords, which always helps. So there's a lot of stuff.
What would be your number one most like rare, precious, collectible, whatever you want to call it, or just emotionally like beloved, connected book on that entire shelf?
I've got a copy of the second edition AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide that is signed by Jeff Easley, who did the cover art. But it's not just signed; like he drew a dragon in it. Which let me see if I can grab it. Hang on. I don't know if that just revealed to the world that I'm wearing pajama pants.
Well, I mean, you're hardly on your own.
All right.
All right, let's check this out. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So he signed this for me
at
Gen Con 2014, and he drew this awesome dragon in it. So this one is really special.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got Molly on deck. I think we should be wise to have her on the video before we keep rolling.
Yes, so I didn't realize I had totally just stolen her moment. Yeah.
No. I knew what was going on. I asked you. You popped up. I thought let's have a little nap time, as we call it, before we bring in Molly. Molly Tanzer, come on down. That's what they sound like on Price is Right, I think. Like they smoke 2 packs a day.
Is that your profession?
Oh, hey, Jeremy's here. Hey, everybody. Jeremy Pack Nelson, one of our beloved authors, along with Molly, has popped in.
Nice.
Maybe we'll grab him once Molly's had some star time. Does Nathaniel have a Tigers of Pantang shirt on? Oh,
yes. Shit. Yes, I do.
Nice. Yeah, I've just got a classic like 80s Marvel, 70s Marvel Conan, whatever, with the pointy helmet that I love so much. How does Molly join, Kevin?
Molly, are you currently in the YouTube chat?
I think that's what's happening. I think
while they're debating this, for anybody who does not know the reference, Tigers of Pantang are an amazing British metal band. But the band name is a reference to Moorcock. which is why it was appropriate for this stream. Pantang is one of the young kingdoms in the Elric world. Yeah, I'm a huge
All right, Molly, I just DM'd
Nwabum
you
fan.
what you want to use. Sorry, I'm talking over you now.
Nah, that's fine.
I'm revealing. Sorry, what were you saying?
I'm revealing the Nest working dynamic, which I just step all over Nat. Good grief. We're not doing too bad though, man. Like you may have to put some flesh in the game. We're at 228 backers. Who knows? Who knows? But all right, I've sent Molly the link through DMs. So when that logging out and logging in happens, I'll come back in. Okay. Sorry, it's so easy. I'm literally on a live stream, and some part of my brain's like, "You should check the Discord." Like, just see if anything's happening on the Discord channel. You don't want to ignore anybody.
Just want to thank everybody who's tuned in so far. This has been, as you can tell, a day like literally I got off work and just took care of everything as quickly as possible. Like I had 30 minutes in between work shift and setting everything up for you guys. So that's the reason why we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here. But
yeah, I don't have much of an excuse for sorry.
Hey.
Hello, Molly.
Hey.
Hello. How are you doing? What's your day been like? We're all on sugar.
No, I've also been like checking it all day long. So I've gotten things done, but mostly like around the house stuff instead of like creative work. So, but it's been good. I'm really excited to see how well it's doing.
Yeah, no, it's really pleasing. Like a couple of days ago, I think I gave myself flashbacks to when Fallout 3 came out, like years and years ago. And what do I mean? I mean that because when that game was coming, like the night or two before it dropped, and I got my copy, I spent the whole evening doing every chore I could around the apartment because I knew once that freaking game got in my hands, that and going to work would be like all I would do for the next week or whatever. And in a similar way, other than preparing for the crowdfund, I just like did all the chores. I like vacuumed the whole apartment, did everything that I could think of because I was like, I'm not going to do anything much else other than be like staring at the crowdfund probably on Thursday. So yeah,
it was a very unproductive day for me at work. I was hitting refresh a lot instead of doing my job.
Yeah, I was working today, and my son was actually homesick from school, and I was just neglected everything. I'm a very good person.
You like Sword and Sorcery, encouraging irresponsible parroting.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, what are we doing? Oh no. Oh my god. Oh hey, hello to Dennis Thornton, who's saying hi from having seen us on the Whetstone, which is great, but nice to see us here. Oh, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, so I mean, while we're here, heck, you've been listening to my mouth flapping 100 miles an hour and a bit of Nat and Kevin. Does anybody have any questions for Molly? Or just want to say hello? I see States of Purgatory, Molly exclamation mark. I think we can parse that pretty easily. Who else you got here? What is Thrones of Iron? I'm unfamiliar.
So I had to Google this. They're a metal band that I have actually not heard of, but I'm going to check them out after this.
Actually, out of curiosity, Molly, what kind of music do you listen to when you write? If you listen to any music at all?
I actually can't listen to music. I usually put on like ambient background stuff, like either like rain or there's a couple of really good on YouTube and other places, like Cyberpunk City or Hobbit Village at night is one that I really like. So like, whatever I'm working on, I try to conjure an ambiance of that, because often, like even with like something like even like jazz or music that has any kind of pattern to it, like my brain goes over there and it tends to latch onto that. And often I find myself figuring out what I should be listening to instead of actually doing the writing. And so it's been a lot easier to just put on like an ambient soundscape for me recently. And that's been really helpful.
Six of Purgatory with
I
a
always find
question.
it neat to find out like what. Sorry. All right. Let's do that.
No, go ahead, Oliver. We'll get back to the question.
I was just saying, I always find it interesting to see like how different people's minds work when it comes to writing and music.
Mhm.
Like some people just can't have it, like or they need like background stuff like you. I almost need to have some kind of music on, and I find I makes playlists for different projects because it helps me switch between them more easily. It's like, I got to work on this script or I got to work on this short story. Okay, well, the music, I'm listening to, I don't know, Radiohead for this one. So, okay, cues me in. But then, yeah, you've got other people who just can't do it at all. It's interesting.
I listened to one of the few podcasts that I listen to is called Draftsman, and it's these two working artists. One's more like a gallery artist and the other is like an illustrator. And at one point they were talking about how, if you're focusing and I'm not saying that this is for everyone, and I'm not saying that I 100% agree with this, but they pointed out that you can, and it's like things that take you away from actually doing the work. And one of them can be figuring out what to listen to, or, what beverage should I be drinking, or like any of these different things. And I kind of felt like very accused by that. And then I thought that maybe I should pay attention to it if I felt accused by it. And so, I don't know, ever since then, I've been like really cautious about dithering and the ways that I do delay actually working on things, but feel like I'm working on them. So,
have you ever watched the movie? It's like from 20 years ago now, at least. Adaptation with Nicolas Cage. It's by Charlie.
I've never actually seen that. No.
Oh, it's really fun. And Nicolas Cage plays twin brothers. That like one of them's a screenwriter and the other one tries to become one. He's basically playing Andy Kaufman. Anyway, point is, there's a scene in it that's so perfect where he's just like trying to sit down to write, and then it's not music, but it's just like the thought pattern of like, okay, I'm gonna write. I'm gonna do this scene. Maybe I need a muffin. Maybe a muffin would help me to write. Yeah, a muffin. And it just kind of like goes through that whole like line of like thinking and action and like what will help me write, but really you're just seeing distractions and so on and so forth. And just you maybe think about it, but yeah. Anyway, let's go to the question.
Sure.
No, you go ahead.
Six Purgatory with Hey Molly, how did you get approached to do the Jarrell story?
I feel like that's more of like an Oliver question than a me question, but very politely, I don't know. Oliver emailed me. He had asked around, I guess, about he had asked, and a few people mentioned my name, and that was really fun to find out, because I do think I'm more known for my my fantasy, like my historical fantasy and my Lovecraftian horror more than like sword and sorcery, but I do have a passion for it, and I've edited an anthology of sword and sorcery stories, and so I was really pleased to be approached in that way. So I don't know. That's my answer.
Well, and plus those other two things totally play into it, right? I mean, Lovecraftian horror is absolutely in the DNA of SNS, as you know, and historical adventure is like the antecedent, basically, to the genre, right? So I think it all comes together beautifully.
Yeah, and like I love that old Weird Tales crew, and that's a vibe that I often look to. I actually got to recently, last year, I got asked to blurb a collection of Gray Lespina's short fiction, and she was like another woman who appeared frequently. She actually appeared more in Weird Tales. She had more stories in Weird Tales than Lovecraft did, and they were totally wild. Like you have to get, if you like that Weird Tales crew and like Lovecraft and all that stuff, like Gray Lespina should definitely be on your list to read, because she just had like the wackiest stuff. Like she's got like this crazy werewolf story called the Wolf of the Steppes, I think. And then there's definitely this one that I cannot remember the title of, but it's all about this mad scientist who is like trying to capture a soul, and like he's super hot and his wife's always trying to like get up on his body, and he's like, no, I have to work. And then I don't know, it's like really, really good, like strangely horny.
So relatable.
It's definitely great. I can't recommend her enough. So
that sounds great.
I really meaningful to me. So sorry.
That sounds great. I am a sucker for the dutiful scientist husband type whose like partner just can't like stop trying to climb up on him and be like, no, I have to do science. Like I have thought too hard about it. There's something about that.
It's like a less coded reanimator. Like I don't know. Like it's there. It's all really there, but it's not subtext. It's just text. It's explicit.
And I'm sorry, for the author who was writing the werewolf story, what was the name of that author?
Her name is Gray Lespina. It's Greye, and then La Spina, Spina.
Okay, I just typed it into the chat.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think there's an extra E in there. But yeah, no, for sure, she's great.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, my side of it is basically, yeah, like I was asking around, I had a few names in mind, and then basically y'all can thank Christopher Rao because he was like, you got to get Molly. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good thought. And then I was like, I remember some stuff of writers I read and like looked deeper into bibliography after Christopher, pointed me in her direction. Then we had a nice call, basically just sort of, each of us feeling out the other one, like, do I want to work with this person? You always got to do that. And it was, less than 10 minutes or something silly that, Molly, I think you said at least a few things that made me go like, yes, this is who we need writing more Jarell. Definitely one of the things I think we already mentioned on the Rogues podcast was when you were like, well, one of the things that defines Jarell for me is she has terrible taste in men. And that just made me laugh, but also it was extremely correct.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not nearly relatable, but there it is. So she really does.
Okay, so we have a request here. So, Molly, please list the Jarell stories in order from your favorite to your least favorite. Thanks.
All right.
That's quite a challenge.
Well,
no notes allowed.
I'm not gonna bring out any books here. I'm gonna do this from memory. Okay, so number one is definitely Hellsguard. Hellsguard is the last, usually in every collection. It is more of a ghost story than her. I mean, she does enter another realm, but it's less like I'm hopping through a window, and it's more like a castle that can only be found at twilight. That's definitely my favorite of them. I would say that like next up after that would probably be Black God's Kiss. It's just iconic. It's classic. Maybe tied with that would be the Darkland, which is just like Wiggy. And honestly, that one reminds me a little bit of like the maybe not very good movie Legend with what's his name? Frankenfurter.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
And Tim Curry.
And Tim Curry. There's like a scene where he's like tempting Mia. Is it Mia Sorvino who's in that? Like, who's the girl? But like she goes and she's like trying to defeat the Dark Lord, and he tempts her with this like beautiful dress, and that scene like happens in the Darkland. And so I was like, this is so relatable. I saw that movie when I was very, very young, and so I was pleased to be reminded of that. And then of course there's, I don't know, I mean, Jarell Meets Magic is probably better than Black God's. Oh no, Mia Sara, thank you. What is this? What is the sequel to Black God's Kiss called? It's Black God's
Shadow.
Shadow. Yeah, thank you. That one's, I would say, that one's fine. It's a good read. And then I would rank last Quest of the Starstone, like dead last. And
I didn't even include it on our poll. On the campaign community tab, we have a poll for favorite Jarell story, and I was like, I just forgot to put it on there.
Whose would it be?
Nobody's favorite.
I don't know. If that's your favorite Jarell story, then probably you're not going to like the one that I wrote. So there.
Yeah, because it's so totally different, and like it's not even in a lot of the collections. Like I have the most recent one, the Galance one, right, with the terrible stock cover, but it has all 6 stories, and that's kind of my reading copy. But then just for fun, I have at hand here my fave paperback cover copy.
Yeah, I have that one too.
The 1982 Ace one, whose artist name is Stephen, I want to say Hickman. He's not credited in the actual paperback. It would be easier if he was. But anyway, I love that art. And actually, I just accidentally grabbed another Steal More book while I was at it. Why not? So, hey, Northwest Smith rides again anyway. But I'll let you know I'll let you guess which one I've read more. Anyway, actually, how is Northwest Smith? Have you read much of him? I've only read Quest for the Starstone, which is kind of not great.
I have the book. I have a collection of the stories, but I only read Quest of the Starstone, and I was just so like, okay, I need a break, so I'll go back to it one of these days. But it was there's a lot of energy in that.
To me, just
I will stick up for Chamblot, the story that kicked off the entire Northwest myth.
Right.
It is one of the best. I won't say vampire in terms of traditional fangs, but in terms of a really parasitic relationship, it's astonishing and just classic weird tales. Is it horror? Is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy? Does it really matter? It's just weird in a good way.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about it. It's anthologized a lot, and the art that accompanied it is like so wild, and stuff that I've seen online. So I definitely want to go back and read a lot more of those when I have the time.
Yeah, I do need to see what the heck is up with Shambleau, actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Also, it occurs to me, if my first exposure to Jarell had been Quest for the Starstone, I would have a very different feeling about Jarell, and maybe had not still have written, read more of her stories. So maybe it's the same with Northwest Smith, right? Like, maybe it's not a great introduction to him either, and we should be
I don't know, it's just different. Like, Jarell in the other stories isn't all like, are you women or are you men? Like, she doesn't, that's not her. And the fact that she has like multiple like weird burns on her soldiers as being like womanish, I'm just like,
yeah,
it's different. Like, there's just a different vibe to it, I think, than a lot of the other stories.
Also, I just checked, and Shambleau is like the very first story in this collection of Northwest Smith. So obviously, there's something to it. If you're
that was the first Northwest Smith story, right?
Yeah, and
also like, I guess, yeah.
I don't know if there's a apocryphal story, but I believe it was Ray Bradbury was talking about how he was at one of the early conventions, and one that C.L. Moore attended, and apparently as soon as like she was announced on stage or whatever, just a murmuring through the crowd it came through of just going Shambleau, Shambleau, Shambleau. So just because, that story definitely that was a way to make a splash in Weird Tales.
Oh, hey, we just got another backer. Awesome. No, phew. We're up to 10,660.
Oh,
and the backer train is 10 backers long. So that's continuing. That's fun. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the backer train is just like a goof. Like, there's nothing particular to it other than it's the fun thing on Backerkit, where as long as you get one backer every 10 minutes, this like chain of backers gets longer. And we did pretty okay, actually, when we started today. We had, oh my God, I'm repeating myself, aren't I? I am. Oh, everyone, I'm so sorry. I've had both a crowdfunding campaign to prepare for and a little puppy named Polly who's becoming a lady and has been so much more work. So as a result, I am beyond sleep deprived, and I can't tell if I'm repeating myself or not when I'm talking about what the backer train is. Anyway, shut up, Oliver. What else is going on? What's going on in the chat? We're seeing
Just get back to
is defending. Yeah. Okay. Oh, hey, it's Brian Murphy, everybody. For those of you who aren't familiar, Brian Murphy wrote a text which I will be forever recommending called Flame and Crimson, The History of Sword and Sorcery. It's a fantastic nonfiction piece doing exactly what it sounds like, telling you the history of the genre going up until just a few years ago. I think we should all bully Brian into writing a short sequel about the more recent years and the explosion of sword and sorcery that's been happening since his book came out. But in the meanwhile, well,
I'm not sure we can get Mike to write that scene, Brian, but I would happily write it for you.
Yeah, we'll do a pastiche.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would do a totally no permission at all whatsoever pastiche. Might have to just be put on like AO3 or something though. Put in the magazine.
We were talking about an actual like unlock that or initiative that we basically sold out of today, of the two faces in a crowd, which led to us pondering a Elric fan fiction tale of like Elric attending a crowd. And
right. Oh yeah, we were talking about earlier. Yeah, we're like Elric goes to a hockey game. Elric goes to central casting at a Hollywood studio. Just sees a lot of faces. Why not?
Yeah, Elric and his 12 best friends are walking down the street, and their names were.
Yeah, just more Tuckerization. Actually, does anybody who's here know the origin of why that's called Tuckerization when you have someone's name like slipped into a story? I don't know that off the top of my head.
I learned it at some point, and I just have a terrible memory.
I forget the exact name, but it was either a writer or a fan who kept being used. But yeah, it was a major thing in sci-fi where it would include, character of like a gun seller in space or a sleazy innkeeper or whatever, and he would always use a name and physical appearance of somebody that was in the community. And
the term is derived from Wilson Tucker, a pioneering American science fiction writer, fan, and fanzine editor who made a practice of using his friends' names for minor characters in his stories. Thank you, Wikipedia.
So I don't know if anybody's listening who hasn't pledged yet, but Valerie just updated. We're so close to 11K. Can we get there before the end of the event? We're not going to be here all evening, people.
No, we're not.
We're so close.
It's Thursday. It's a school night. We'll save the this isn't stopping until one of us collapses for the final telethon. But still, though, I mean, like I said, we've achieved things I did not expect to achieve today. So yeah, I think 11 grand is not hard to believe. We're at 13 people strong on the backer train, like 236 backers. Feels good, man. Yeah, no, I honestly, yeah, I'm gonna have to see if we can figure out. Oh yeah, no, for sure, Val. I'm gonna see if we can figure out some more faces, some more stories. Molly, have you ever Tuckerized? Have you ever put like your buddy in a story or anything like that?
I've taken names and used them. I've definitely I think, yeah, and like someone did it for me too. Like someone included my characters from my first collection. There are these twin necromancers that appear in a bunch of early work, and he put them in one of his stories. And so it's definitely a thing that's done, especially like in communities these days. But yeah, I often, if somebody has like a cool name, I'll often ask if it's okay if I like modify it or use it or things like that. I mean, it gives something. You give things the ring of truth, especially if you're making up a lot of like gobbledygook fantasy names that kind of always sound goofy. If you can like at least base them. I mean, most of the names in this Jarell story, I actually took out of a database of I mean, I modified some of them, but they were all included in an actual date, it was like a census of Paris in the 13th century or the 14th century or something like that. So like a lot of, because I just, in order to make it not just sound like a bunch of syllables, that's one of the things I chose to do to give it like more of a like ring of veracity to it historically.
I think that was one of the things you pitched to me when we were talking about doing it as well early on. Like maybe it appealed to me because like that's one thing that's kind of neat about Jarell is like, okay, in essence, she spends 99% of all her stories like somewhere else, but fundamentally she's of our world. So yeah, why not like draw from that, right? And I mean,
she is in another world for the majority of the story, but for various reasons, I did kind of want to evoke France. And so, and it was interesting. And like, shout out to whoever in the SCA, the Society for Creative Anachronism, for those who aren't familiar with the SCA, like this was like an SCA name database. I mean, those people are like so dedicated to like committing to the bit, and their research is like incredibly fascinating at times. And so like it was on an SCA name generation website that's just like, here's the records of the census of Paris. And it's like, thanks guys. Like, that's really awesome. And it was first and last names too. I mean, it was so thorough. And I was just like, all right, y'all, that's awesome. So
we mentioned it earlier, but for those who came in late, Nick Mattis wanted to ask, can we learn the title of the new Jarell story here on this stream?
We sure can, but maybe Molly can say it this time.
We can. I think I spilled the beans a little early, sorry, in an interview that I did. But it is Jarell and the Mirror of Truth. And that will be.
Am I misremembering? Was it Jarell and the Court of Truth in an early draft?
It was, but then remember, I mean, like, I don't know, the synopsis that I sent you ended up not being the story I wrote, inevitably, and so she just spent a lot less.
I mean, it was,
Yeah. Oh no, it was close, but I mean, she spent a lot less time in the Court of Truth than than she did with the Mirror, and so I just decided to. I don't know. I still think Jarell and the Court of Truth is a better title, but that's just not what the story was about. So. I had to make a concession.
I still think it's intriguing, but I mean, it's not too late. We can change it.
No, I don't. It's not right. I have to do what the story tells me, and that was just like, I guess she's only there once. Like, I guess we should probably change this.
Fair enough. Hey, yeah, good old fantasy name generator. I definitely go there a lot for my role playing game sessions.
Yeah. They can be really good, and they can. I've used them before as well, but and it really just depends on the project. I mean, this one just was sort of less fantastical. I mean, that's not true. It's obviously like exceedingly fantastical, but I wanted to have it sort of have a feel to it. So yeah, the Court of Truth is definitely part of the story. I think my favorite part of the story ended up being Jarell has a friend named the Chevalier Theven Galwa, and she is she's been exiled and cast out of the Court of Truth, where she was formerly like a knight, and so she is like a disgraced person, and so that factors heavily in it. And like Thevin's story is sort of like alongside of Jarell's, and that was really fun. So it's cool. I tried.
Yeah, no, that was something else.
I guess that's for the critics to decide, but I thought it was cool.
Did you feel any pressure? I mean, knowing this is the first Jarell Jory story in 80+ years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wanted to do a good job. I mean, I always do. Like I'm often really hard on myself, and a slower writer because I tend to I don't know, and I don't mean to be like humble brag and be like I'm a perfectionist, but like I really am. Like I drive myself pretty hard on the various craft elements of my work. And with this, I just really wanted to do it right because she was such a good writer, but I'm not at all a similar writer to her. Like I like Moira's prose is so clear and so evocative, and her sentences are just, you read them and you're right there. And I tend to be a little bit chewier. Like I'm much more like I don't know. I have a hard time untangling things, and I often have to do that in revision. And so I knew I could never like match her style. So I had to like match her vibe. Sorry to use like a very 21st century term, but like, I wanted it to be right. But right, I had to define what was right for myself. So I don't know. Like we'll see.
Brian's back with another question. Yeah. He wants to hear your thoughts on pastiche. Are you going to try to capture Moore's writing style, or instead the spirited character, or attempt a more modern take?
I would say, like, I mean, yeah, the spirit is really what I was going for. I did try to keep Jarell close to how she appears in the stories, even if I couldn't do the narration the way that I feel like would sound authentically more. And like I've done a lot of pastiche work. Like my first collection, A Pretty Mouth, is a series of various pastiches of different eras of fiction. There's like a 17th century story. There's like a 19th century story. There's like a 19 or like an interbellum story. And so I've done it before, and I really enjoy pastiche, and I love it when it's done right. I mean, I just love to read that kind of thing. I just read an amazing book called The Death of Sir Martin Malprelate by Adam Roberts, and it's this like note for note perfect Victorian novel. Like, I mean, you could, if I didn't know what it was, it almost could have fooled me. Like it was like teaching me words that like archaic words, and I was like, thanks for this. So I think that stuff is really, really cool. But with this, I did want to kind of go in my own direction with it. And I wouldn't necessarily say I was attempting a more modern take, but I did want to include more of a modern story than the, I don't know how to put it. I'm not good live on the mic. But like, I wanted to make it more of a modern feel. There's more dialogue, there's more scene changes, there's more action and motion. And I think, which is sort of where we are stylistically here. And back when Moore was writing, like you could write like a 5-page description of like a field, and it was like I'm right there, and like I'm there for it, and I love reading it. But I think that I wanted to kind of keep it moving in a certain kind of way. So.
No spoilers, but Captain
God, that reminds me. Just the other night, I was. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, you talking about the 5-page description of the field reminds me of the other night. I was reading a Clark Ashton Smith story whose name escapes me, but it was the one included in the gigantic, like, weird fiction thing that Vandermeer and his wife put together. And the majority of the thing is just like one guy and his friend is a painter, and the friend is just like, have you seen this fucking grove? There's like 11 groves around here, but there's one grove. Fuck. And it's just like that for the whole thing. And the two friends go back and forth, this fucking grove, man, until finally at the end, like, something happens, the grove, it was that messed up, the end. And it's just like, I enjoyed it, but I was also kind of chuckling the whole time because of very much recognizing what you're talking about of like, man, they don't write them like this anymore. And there's maybe a reason, but it's fun to read, but it's not like, it's not going to compete with, I don't know, whatever, a hot new YA text or whatever. Oh man.
Yeah, it's not exactly A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like it's, it's just like there's a vibe, like Clark Ashton Smith is such a vibe too. Like I love all of this stuff, but like it is slow. Like it's rewarding, but it's not briskly paced. It's like, did you want to think about wizards on Saturn? And I'm like, I really did. Like, thank you for this enormous story about like write that. So
yeah, like there's the odd exception. Like I find the Dark Eidolon moves along relatively quickly considering how much happens in it. But yeah, the fact that he'll write the Dark Eidolon, but then he'll write 3 more stories in a row that are just like this fucking field. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I think did we have another question there? Oh my god, we're $45
Yes,
shy
we do.
of 11,000. So that's great.
We're actually now $31
question.
shy.
Whoa. I love how I'm out of date in the time it takes me to say the sentence. It's great.
Yep.
When money comes in that quick way. But yes, anyway, this question from Molly.
You said your favorite Jarrell story is Hellsguard, but also acknowledge that has the least weird content of them all. So is your story more like Hellsguard or the others?
Sadly, no ghosts try to kiss her in my story, which I know is just like a sad thing to say. There is kissing, but like no ghosts. No, I tried to sort of take a little from all of the different stories. I don't that's an interesting question. Like I would say it's more fantastical than Hellsguard for sure. There are more wizards, there's beasts, there's wildernesses, there's all these different sort of things. Magic plays a heavy part in it, and like Hellsguard is more like horror themed, and I would say that my story is like firmly set in the fantastical rather than the horror mode. So I'm sorry. No, I'm still removed. No, I'm sorry. There's
there's still time. There's still time to edit in.
No. We'll Tuckerize a ghost into it.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, straight up just P.S. She kissed so many ghosts. Just we're just gonna add that.
Everybody's trying to kiss Jarrell, and I honored that, but I had to choose. I thought actually there was going to be like more kissing, but I chose instead to go in a different direction. When the story was leading me to add in a character that I didn't realize was going to have such a major role. So I had to follow where it was taking me. I had to follow my heart with it, but which meant sadly less kissing, but there's still some horniness. Like there has to be, like, you know.
And I will say, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but we haven't really started doing layout yet, so I haven't really seen any of the stories yet, but Oliver did share just the first page of this story with us, and it is totally balls to the wall. Like I read the first page and just said, holy shit, this is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
I cannot wait to read the rest of this. Yeah, I mean, seriously, I was absolutely blown away, and I'm dying to read the rest of this story.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I loved
I really mean that
opening. I don't know, it's just like that's one thing that I wanted it to like grab people like a hairy hand in the dark, because I think that's one thing that like more stories all do, is that her openings are like so solid, and you know, it's this immediate like, oh my god, what's happening, where are we, this is so cool. And you know, I mean, even though Jarrell Meets Magic isn't my favorite of the stories, like the opening to that where she's like freaking out, writing down like this wizard who I don't even know if we ever learned why he pissed her off so much, but she was like storming his castle, and she's like on horseback and like, you know, screaming, and they're like battering down and I was just like, oh my god, like this is so cool. And so I really wanted to evoke some of that energy that she always brings to her openings. But thank you, I really appreciate that. It's like really exciting to hear.
Yeah, it's pure.
Yeah,
like,
no,
folks,
I like to print out hard copies and make notes because it forces me to like re-review when I type them up for the author. And I have a piece of paper somewhere that's like the printout of the first page of Molly's manuscript. I just wrote like, "This is fucking SNS." Like I just wrote it in big letters after I read the first paragraph. So I just like had such strong feelings. Like, yes, this. Anyway.
Thank you.
So yeah, no, that was very gratifying. Yeah. Does anybody? Oh, we're so close. $31. Does anybody else have any questions about anything? In the meanwhile, while you all think about if you have questions or anything about anything, to horniness, let's talk about the important things here. It is funny how what you described goes sometimes. I'd like to do.
I'm totally going to interrupt you, Oliver. We just broke 11,000.
Oh my gosh! Fuck. That's so exciting.
$11,024 with 240 backers. I don't even have alcohol handy for a shot, but let's pretend I do. Anyway, yeah, that is so pleasing. We're at like, I don't know, 62% or something now. Yeah. Okay, so pleasing. Again, thank you, everybody. All right, whatever. I'm gonna keep sounding like someone who just got pulled up to do their Oscar speech. Like I didn't think this would happen, but I really, my reasonable expectations for the day have been. Yeah, like my reasonable expectations were blown through hours ago, so this is just so delightful. And the other fun thing too is something else. If you want to get nerdy about math, and then we'll go back to horny. So this is a great combo.
Let's
math
get nerdy
and horny.
about math.
Yeah. When I say like we blew through so 50%. It took us 24 hours last year to hit 50%. So 8 a.m., one day, next day by 8 a.m. we had 50%. And that was of a lower funding goal. So this time we hit 50% of a higher funding goal at 4:30, so less than 8 hours. But I think it was at least a few hours before that we actually raised about as much money as we raised in the first 24 hours last year. So it was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours, something like that. I don't know if you remember. We'd have to go back through the Discord because there's a private, as you can imagine, there's a private like editorial channel for us on our Discord. And today it's been a lot of like hooting and hollering and screenshots. Sorry, Nat, what?
I said, give me a second, I'll find it.
Okay, cheers. Yeah.
In the meantime,
I mean, yeah. The Smith story you're referring to called Genius? Okay. It might be. If that's the one in the giant phone book put out by the Vandermeers, then yes, because it's the only Clark Ashton Smith story in that collection. But I'm afraid I am simply not remembering the title right now, so my apologies. But if you can find the big Vandermeer weird stories thing and the TOC for that, you'll find it. And obviously it was an enjoyable story. Like I say, it was hard not to chuckle a little bit about a story that's 90%, oh my god, this field. But its vibe is intense. Yeah. Anyway, but to the horny thing that's kind of funny, and how like you were kind of going in and it wound up being like a little less than you maybe had intended from the start. I didn't give this to you, Molly, because like what you were doing is a much more particular like mission, right? With the whole Jarell bringing her back thing. But I have like an editor's wish list. It's completely optional. I stress that very strongly. But it's just like a bullet point of like, I don't know, we haven't had this in the magazine yet, or I want to see more of XYZ, whether it's like certain, I want to see like, we haven't had a heavyset protagonist. That'd be nice. Or we haven't had, this kind of twist, generally speaking, happen. Like, if you want to play with this, that'd be fun. Whatever. Just me throwing like prompts basically at the authors. And one author who I know, took hold of one of my prompts, which was me realizing like I had definitely given permission early on. I was like, look, if we want to treat New Age Sword and Sorcery like movie ratings, like it's R-rated. We're never going to go X, so that's just a little too far for the magazine. But it definitely like hard R-rated, is fine by me as long as it's like serves the purpose and story, blah blah. Even what it serves in the purpose is cool. Like it doesn't have to be complex. But I realized as we were going into issues 3 and 4 and the writing of it, I was like, man, like, except for one story by Bryn Hammond, bless her, like, nobody gets laid in this magazine. What's happening? So I just literally joked and put, like, somebody, for God's sake, like, in my bullet point list. And one author, bless him, Jeremy Pack Nelson, who I saw in the chat earlier. Jeremy, I don't know if you're still there.
He was only here for a limited time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it makes sense, right? Because he lives in the UK, so he may probably gone to bed by now. But he was like, I'm going for it. And I was like, all right. But alas, we got into the editing process, and like he wrote a great, I thought, love scene that really served the purpose of the story. It was also charming, make the characters more, all the good things you want to have from that. But as you got to a later draft, we just started running out of space, and something had to go. And it's more of an inferred scene now. And I just remember being like sitting there, just having this like painful moment, looking at the manuscript, and I laugh and being like, shit, that is what has to go. Shit. I'm going against my own wish list. So alas. Sometimes you go in, wanting more horny, but the gods tell you no. Anyway, that was my great story. Sorry, cool story, Oliver. We have another question for Molly. Can we go and bring that up?
Yes. So the question looks like you're also known for your LGBTQ cast. Is there anything queer in the new Jarell story? Like, yes, absolutely. Like, one of actually Thevin, who I was talking about a little earlier, is indeed, she's gay, and it doesn't factor into the story a ton, but it does actually come up. It's part of her whole character. And that is another thing that I kind of wanted to bring to this, was expanding the space in Jarell for a greater diversity. And so I was conscious of that, and I was I ended up finding an interesting way of like making it not just subtext but text, because I was like, this is what's in my head here. But no, I did want to do that because that is something that I'm very passionate about, and I don't think that I don't know. Yeah, yes, that's my answer. My answer is yes. There it is.
Is there any other questions in the chat?
Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe any questions for Molly about Jarrell, for me about editing, for Nat about layout and design choices? Honestly, I mean, if you want to get into that nitty gritty stuff, it's all good. For Kevin about surviving the horrors of being a social media coordinator across multiple platforms in the time of Elon Musk's Twitter. Oh my god.
I was not on Twitter at all way back when we first started. And Oliver's like, would you mind going on Twitter? I'm like, okay. And this was well before we knew what was going to happen with Twitter or anything. So thanks, Oliver, for making me this history.
Tossing you in right at the start of 2023, right before it got real interesting.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because what was it, fall of 22? Elon snuck in there, and I probably was talking to you, Kevin, maybe like a month or two before that happened. So yeah, just snuck in under the wire there. And that's the thing. Actually, one thing that makes me so. Oh, hey, awesome. Okay, I'm going to answer that question in a second, but I was going to say one thing that made me so grateful for how well we seem to be performing today, and knock on wood, how we'll continue, I hope, is that there were a few things that made me very nervous about this campaign. There were a lot of things that made me very excited, including, of course, Molly's story, bringing back Jarrell and all that good stuff. Yeah, I was a little nervous about moving to a different platform. Obviously, Backerkit, I had enough reasons to feel confident to do it, but it's a change, and change can be scary. I wasn't sure if everybody would follow us from Kickstarter, yada yada. But another thing relative to what we were talking about was, when we ran our Kickstarter last February, Twitter worked. Twitter actually worked. You could tweet something and reliably most of your audience would see it and people would share it, and it would have like a good network effect. And it was like our second or third. It jumped up and down during the campaign, but I think it settled around third or fourth most common source of backers. Right. So to think going into this campaign, oh, good, Twitter is like a pumpkin that's been left out 2 months after Halloween, is not encouraging. But two things. First of all, at least in the week leading up to this, it seems to be more effective than I expected for getting us new campaign followers. So that was nice. So maybe it's not completely deflated. But also, I mean, today's gone pretty well. So I'm hoping, Blue Sky is helping plug the gap a little bit. And the fact that our followings have grown elsewhere will also help. So yeah. But yeah, Twitter is scary, man. Like it's a whole thing. Anyway, what's next for Ness after these issues? Oh yeah, Molly, you got to go?
No, yeah, I do have to go. I'm sorry. It was really fun to hang out, but I need to go do other things. So thanks so much for having me on, and thanks everyone for your great questions, and thanks everyone who donated to the Kickstarter. Like, it's been really amazing to watch today. This is the first time I've ever really been involved in like a campaign like this, and it's been like really, really exciting. So thank you so much.
Yay.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks, Molly.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye. And yeah, I mean, Molly will be back. We're going to do a live stream interview with her on a date that has been set. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I want to say
totally
the 28th.
Real.
24th. February 24th.
24th, on the 24th, yeah. It's like a Saturday, 1 p.m. EST, if I remember correctly. We'll make lots of loud noises before that happens, and there should be an email reminder as well. So yeah, we're gonna have like a longer, like in-depth interview with Molly, all about lots of the things we talked about and a lot of things that we haven't. So that'll go later. In the meanwhile, what's next for Ness after these next issues? Okay, so obviously I want to do more issues of the magazine, and my God, I already have one tab in Excel that's like, what about this and that and that and this? Because the way it works is you have more ideas than you can ever fit into the stuff you're actually doing in the moment, and also publication, like publishing just moves slowly. Like you do it with WinGraph, right, Nat? Like, what I'm talking about. Like, it does not go as fast as people think. And if it ever looks like you're reacting to something pop culture or whatever, pure coincidence, because you were probably planning whatever it looks like that seems to be reacting to pop culture like 6 months earlier. Yeah.
6 months at least.
Yeah. There's already an element in these issues that I by the time they come out, maybe they won't seem so topical. But right now, it feels like they're reacting to something that hadn't even happened yet. When I made those elements a part of it, so yeah, so I'm already thinking about the next 2 issues in a small way. So that's on my mind. And honestly, I don't see it happening in time for next year unless we're insanely lucky. I would like it if the magazine did well enough to make it like my job, and then maybe we could even do 4 issues a year. I don't know, but for now, it's going to probably remain 2 issues a year. So that's the magazine proper. But as some of you may have heard me say elsewhere, I kind of thought I was going to hold on to this, and then I just started leaking it because I'm excited. Like, if this crowdfund succeeds, period, doesn't matter what degree, just that it succeeds, though more is better. Mortgage your house. If that whatever. Then Brackenbury Books will sort of become like, it's been like a fun name for like publishing this, and actually earlier was Bracken Books, and before I found out that that's actually a company that exists in England. So yep, my full last name now has become the name Brackenbury Books. Yeah. Anyway, Brackenbury Books has just been like a cute name for like we have to name the publisher. It will be more than a cute name going forward when we fund these issues, and there is a book planned for crowdfunding June-ish. It's going to be an experiment in a lot of ways. It'll be an experiment with mixing genres, sword and sorcery, and something else. I'll tell you later. It's also going to be an experiment in us trying to do like something that's like I love doing the magazine. I'm doing it right now. I'm loving doing it. But the magazine is like, Nat and I especially have been realizing in some of our conversations about publishing stuff that we decided to tackle the double black diamond of independent publishing. It feels like right off the bat. Like we really should have in some way started with like, I don't know, a novella or a chapbook or something with like one author and one artist, and just put the words in pages, and like who cares about like arranging things, and cute patterns. God almighty, what were we thinking? Anyway, 20 authors and artists approximately, and all this other crap.
When this project started and Oliver's like, so hey, I'm going to need you to learn this new layout software. And I was like, you what?
I was like,
you what?
And you were like, Canva?
Yeah, Vellum.
Vellum, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, the thing that automatically does layout for you. And it's like, no, I need you to actually learn how to use real professional layout software. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the best part was it was like a different iteration of software I was familiar with. It wasn't technically what I knew. What I knew was Adobe InDesign. And then I was like, well, how about Affinity Publisher? Because that way we can own it. We don't have to subscribe. So I was kind of learning at the same time as you were really learning. And then we both kind of like held each other's hands. Anyway, now you know it better than I do. But it worked out because like you have good instincts. I really, really, really enjoy when you and I are like yesterday we were jamming on like final designs for one of the covers. And I just I like working with you, and I like your instincts, and it always seems to come together well. I cut to us like in a bare knuckle brawl over some future book cover, but I mean, yeah, but it works well. So yeah, my point is, sorry, and all that double black diamond talk was that the anthology. It's an anthology. I gave it away. That we're hoping to crowdfund in June. Is an experiment in us not putting our backs into it. Like we're going to make it the best anthology we can, but even like the best anthology we can is going to be less work and it's going to be less complex than doing 2 issues of the magazine. So I'm looking forward to it in that sense. So it's going to be an experiment and seeing if we can do something that doesn't feel like the fate of the world hinges on it, So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. And then the other thing will be in the fall. I really hope to do, again, I think I mentioned this elsewhere, so whatever, a kind of Ace double. So for those of you who don't know what the heck that is, Ace is a publishing company, and back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, I think 50s too as well, actually, they were known for doing things called Ace doubles, which were like a little paperback, right? Classic mass market paperback size, like, this sucker, except on one side you'd have like, Northwest Smith by Steel War, and then you would turn it this way, and instead of the back of a book, you'd get other book by other author, and it would just like split in the middle kind of thing, and that was really fun because often it would be aware of having like big author on one side, new author we're trying to introduce them to you on this side. Sometimes it makes genre, sometimes it wouldn't. Anyway, they were really cool, really fun. I like the idea, and so I'm having 2 authors each write a novella. And we're going to do like a double like that with sword and sorcery novellas. I think it's a great pairing of authors. I thought very hard about who they would be and how their styles kind of complement each other but are different, and how their subject matter like fits together, but it isn't redundant. You'll see. So that will be a traditionally printed with the thing that this book, I don't think this book has it. Does this other book I have it? No, darn it. But you know what I mean? When they have like the dyed edges that are like yellow or blue or whatever, right? Like that paperback will have those. That's an experimenting, really creating like what we consider the platonic, awesome, something you found in like a secondhand bookstore, but it's new mysteriously. Mass market paperback, Bracken Double, I'm calling it for now. My God, I hope we have a better name by then. Something to do with battle axes, maybe, I don't know. So yeah. That's kind of the plans for the rest of the year. And if all goes really, really well, the last thing I'll say is I would love to start doing novella series. So not a double, just a single novella, but kind of like Tor does, with Murderbot and all those kinds of things. But just like each one is a different like SNS protagonist, and there's like a new volume every year, and you can just pick up volume 4 and start there. But if you read it in order, you'll be rewarded, kind of thing. Yeah. So that's like the longer term, and there's other stuff, but the other stuff at this point is just like so ephemeral. It's like a sentence that I muttered to one of these guys in the chat or something. So everything I've said so far is a bit more substantial than that. So that's it. The anthology, Bracken Double, novellas, books. We want to do books and more issues in the magazine, of course, 5 and 6 for sure. And I hope to do many, many more. Yep. Okay. Hello. Okay. So this is a good friend of mine, Charlie, who's also a great supporter of the magazine. Thank you. How are these issues for disability rep? That is a fine question. I would say the most like head on for that we had last year was Jackie Kawaja's story, Fang. There were elements in other stories. This one, sorry, I have to like go back in my head and like walk through all the manuscripts, which are all currently floating around in my head right now. It ain't nothing. I know that much.
As you ponder that, I will say Fang, the story you referenced, just got called out actually in a review that was posted today on Blackgate for the disability rep that's in it, which was really cool. A review by Greg Melee, actually, who is himself a very fine SNS author.
Which I hope he only wields melee weapons. But he's never heard that before. Oh, Charlie, that is a fine question. I don't think there's any stories that like focus on it, but there's definitely like elements in a few of the manuscripts. I'm just so mentally boondogged right now. I can't pick it out. But I will maybe less usefully for this live stream go through the manuscripts later and answer that individually. Sorry. but yes, absolutely. Disability rep is always a part of the thing that we want to be helping get more exposure for and get more presence of, as a better way of putting it, in the magazine. Question for Oliver: is all of NES 4 already planned out? I'm especially curious if there's any chance of another Drell 4. Okay. So to clarify, we have issues 3 and 4 are what we're crowdfunding right now, and 3 has the Drell story. 4 does not. It has many other things in it, including Harry Turtledove's SNS tale, and I'm pretty sure that's where the Elric reprint is going to.
Yep.
Amongst other things, Gene Orchard Parker's some stories in that one. Yeah. Anyway, bunch of people doing great things. I've intentionally not said exactly what the TOCs are on the campaign page, just because I want to leave myself some room in case at the last minute it makes more sense to go, and move this around, kind of thing. But yeah, there will only be the one Drell story this year. Will there be more in the future? I am hoping there will be. Certainly, I spoke with the estate when we were figuring things out for this one, and I was like, hey, why don't we test the waters with this story? And if people like it, what if we do more? And they were like, sounds cool. So, except in more professional language. So yes, all I can really say right now is that, if all the stars align, this goes well, it's well received, it makes sense to do it, we're going to do more. Will it be in the magazine? Will it be a novella? I don't know. That's all I can say right now. But absolutely, positively, I would love to do more Jarrell. I would love to have Molly write more Jarrell. It has been such a great experience already, and I feel very confident that you guys are going to like the story. So yeah. Some kind of novella situation, or at the very least, another story in the magazine next year. I would be very happy if for a while we were the home of Jarrell. I can live with that. Will there be any NES presence at any upcoming cons this year? Man, I wish. I would love to do WriterCon. I would love to do all sorts of big ones, like Gen Con. I'd love to be there for the writing panel. The hard truth is I'm broken. I just can't make it to any of them. I just can't make it to any of them. And it's also logistically a little complicated because I'm in Toronto, but the physical books are in Chicago. So to go to a con, they would have to be like, they'd be mailed from there, and I'd come along, but then they're getting the extras back to. I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I've said this before in interviews, where like I have never done this thing that we're doing before. I've done collaborative, like complex art projects, like filmmaking before, but I've never done a magazine before. So I've never done publishing before. So I'm kind of adding like elements of it as we go along. 0 was learning how to do a magazine, period. 1 and 2 was crowdfunding a magazine plus doing it traditional style and doubling the workload. This one around is like moving to a whole new platform and trying to, a whole bunch of other new things we're trying to do. So cons, I want to do them. I want to do them real bad, but I'm just not there right now. I hope to get there. Aside from backing this campaign, you can always go to Patreon, look up, O'Bracken, Oliver Brackenbury, if you want to support my creative endeavors at large, including things like going to cons. Then please, sign up there. That'd be great. I wish I had a better answer than I'm broke, give me money, but. But that's kind of it for now. That being said, I've got to keep an eye out for what's going on in Toronto over the rest of the year. I think when the crowdfund is over and I catch my breath, I'm going to see if there's anything going on locally that maybe I could attend, and maybe I could at least just show up with some like some business cards with like a URL code or QR code for going to the website or something like that. I don't know. I want to do something because, as I hope I've conveyed in interviews, and even right now, I like meeting people. I like talking to people. I just, I got to get the resources to do it. But absolutely, before the magazine or I am done, I would like to do some cons. Any other things here? More novellas. SNS needs them. You're right, David Lynch. I completely agree. I really strongly feel. I'm going to just give some completely unsolicited advice from a guy who just said he's only barely into publishing. So take all this with a grain of salt. Everything I've seen in my like paying close attention to what's going on in SNS publishing and to a degree like SFF at large screams to me that like SNS authors need to be writing more novellas. Even if you're just in quotation marks, I mean no shade, but if you're just doing the self-pub thing, write novellas, because short stories are great and you should write those too, of course. I mean, it's what the genre was born in, and it's a way to get exposure with like a lower level of effort, obviously, than like a novella or a novel or an anthology. Getting into magazines is great. I'm publishing a short fiction magazine, but you know what's a lot easier to market and sell? Books. There's just way more people who are willing to review books, way more people who are willing to buy books, who are even thinking to get books, right? Than short fiction magazines, which are lovely, and we're all doing our best to make them more popular, but they are not the main way that people get reading matter at this point in time. It is not the 30s, alas, or even the 50s in that regard. So yeah, I really just think everybody should be writing SNS novellas because they're shorter, on the shorter end of the spectrum, which like this genre plays well to. And that way you're building like a series. If you can get your own SNS novella one out every year, either with different characters or building like a series with your one character that you love, your Conan, I just think it's a better way of building things up. Oh no. So yes, Nesty, yes. I can't believe no one's done that yet, including me. I can't believe we haven't done Nesty yet. I think I made some dumb joke about something getting kinky or whatever. Things are gonna get nesty, but like not nesty, like refreshing. God damn it, Brian. So that's my unsolicited career advice, I guess. And so I'm kind of putting my money where my mouth is, or I will be later this year, because I really want to make novellas like the bread and butter, like the novella series, the bread and butter of Brackenbury books. Bread and butter Brackenbury books. Say that 5 times fast. Okay. I mean, we've been going for a minute here. It's 8:38.
I just got one last question that we'll just ask the audience, and then we can wrap things up then, unless if we get like a whole rash of new pledges.
Ooh.
Well, actually, I just had a thought, but you throw the question out, and then I'm gonna push something for funsies.
Okay, what kind of off-the-wall New Age Sword and Sorcery merchandise would you like to see? Tell us in the chat, people.
Oh, go straight to the source here.
Yeah, we got t-shirts and hoodies and mugs, which for complex annoying reasons are only available in the US right now. And maybe we even have something else up our sleeve, but I won't spoil what that is. So, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can grab Stress balls. More stickers.
Stress
Yeah,
balls.
book plates. Honestly, yeah, I would murder some book plates, which is how you make them apparently. I'm actually writing that down right now. I would love
Captain Corum. I like where your head's at.
Oh hey,
we have talked about that one.
Patch for denim jacket.
We've talked about that one.
So,
the battle jacket patch.
A wooden sword with a Nest
I think
logo branded on the hilt.
Christmas ornaments, that would be fun. Plushies. I don't know what they would be plushies of.
What would it be of? A Jarell
what would the
plushie?
plushie be of? But actually, okay, Captain Corum, I can help you there. If you're in the States.
Okay, Nest.
Okay, I'm
Nest dice with the battle axe logo like as the 6 on a D6. That's actually, that'd be pretty cool.
The comment has failed to post.
J+1's the best patch. All right. Told you guys.
A Kindle case.
Oh, that's not bad.
Case? That could be kind of neat, actually. I'm passionate.
Seconding plushies because God knows half our characters need a hug.
Patch. Brian, where were you at our marketing meeting, man?
Yeah.
I'm not paying you royalties. Yes, I live in Delaware.
Oh, great. Okay, so I don't know why, for some technical reason, I can't seem to respond with
maybe like a battle axe throw pillow.
Actually, that reminds me, I have found but not yet ordered chew battle axes for dogs. Not a joke.
What?
They're out there. Some of them are better than some of them are worse. But a lot of people keep telling me, like, you should, like, for a logo for the company, it should be like a drawing of my little fox terrier puppy Polly, but like leaping in the air with a battle axe in her mouth. And that just led me down the rabbit hole of looking at battle axe toys for dogs. And of course they exist. Of course they exist.
Of course.
So yeah, body pillow.
Oh my god.
I would love body pillow, but it's like just the magazine. Like I'm just hugging the goddamn like issue 1 or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like a Jarell body pillow, like one of those anime body pillows where it's your waifu. That would sell.
Yes, exactly. I
don't know. I don't know who it would sell to, but it would sell.
I mean, I'd buy one. NES controller. Actually, it's funny. Somebody assumed because of the old NES, the character NES, that's why I chose the acronym for the magazine. I was like, I wish. Resin Garage Kit. Now, that would be interesting. I don't know what the kit would be of exactly. Okay. It was sell to sickos. Exactly. Okay, just a moment. I am grabbing a thing. So I'm having technical difficulties with grabbing the link, but I'm going to throw it at Kevin, and maybe if he.
Yeah, Captain Corum, if you're still here, just a moment. I'll put the link in the chat that everybody can look at what New Edge currently has for sale.
Yeah, because we do have T-shirts and hoodies if you're looking for clothes. And also, I really want to stress something we're going to keep doing. I don't know if y'all noticed, but as soon as issues 1 and 2 came out, as soon as issues 1 and 2 came out, a crom piece. God, Oliver, finish a thought. As soon as issues 1 and 2 came out, the issue 0 logo vanished from our social media, and the issue 0 merchandise was like logo, like those colors, vanished to be replaced by issues 1 and 2. This is something I want to keep doing because I just think it's fun for keeping our like look online and fresh, but also it makes the merchandise like fun in like a limited edition kind of way. So yeah, issues 1 and 2, those logo colors, you can get shirts that are either black with those logos or like an appropriate one of the 2 colors in the logo, like a burgundy hoodie with the burgundy and like bone color issue 1 logo. So yeah, issue 1 and 2 logos are currently what's available, and they will be gone forever once issues 3 and 4 come out. Whose colors we have in the corner here with there we go, with the branding. So yeah, so that's just like a fun little treat, fun little thing to know. Collecting our shirts and mugs and what have you along the way. Anybody who has a whole run of every issue will blow my mind. I don't know. They'll maybe win a prize somewhere down the line. I love coming up with this. I obviously should have been some kind of 1970s game show pitching hack, because I just get such a kick out of finding reasons to be like, if you bounce on your head, I'll give you a packet of ketchup. I don't know. It's been fun with how Backerkit tracks so much more, and lets you do so much more, that I've been able to come up with like this long list of these fun things, like our first backer reward, like our returning and 48-hour backer rewards, like our top backer community member reward, all this stuff. It's been really fun, like kind of scratching my head and figuring out like what else can we do. Yup. That's gonna be Carl again. Carl might take
Blessed
over.
Carl.
It's true. Unless somebody competes, unless somebody tries to crush Carl. I don't know. And he's going to see this live stream later and be like, thanks, Oliver. Thanks a lot. You're going to start trying to crush me now. So one other thing I would love to see if we can do it. I mean, I don't want to push it too hard, but it really would mean a lot to me. I'm going to share with Kevin, who I will then ask to pass it along, because, I don't know, I'm getting some joyful technical error here. If y'all really want to do us a solid, I would be so appreciative of. You already are. I mean, you owe us nothing, let's be clear. But I'm sharing through Kevin into the chat here the direct links for the share on Facebook and share on Twitter community thingies that we're trying to achieve. Because I would love to do that, because that is just a great free way to help spread the good word. Here's the other one, Kevin. One is for Facebook, one is for Twitter. And yeah, just those of you with Facebook and Twitter accounts, if you're willing to like click through those particular buttons, that's how we track to see how many people have done it, and share the campaign on Twitter and Facebook. That would be amazing. When we hit 25 shares of each of those, just a reminder for those who weren't here earlier, that will unlock free bonus short stories written by yours truly that I think you all really enjoy. And also just, so it helps get the word out, helps get us racing towards 100% minimum fund. Which I am so hungry for, because I want to raise more than that, but that's when you can like kind of breathe a little bit easier. So that would just be like, that'd be so nice to do.
I just want to say. I was just going to say one of the last things, just because it was so amusing. I saw someone suggested the newest Sword and Sorcery role-playing game, and of course there would be rights issues for stores. And then right now I'm thinking, what if you role-played putting together an indie Sword and Sorcery magazine?
Oh, God.
We could have the different classes, editor,
psychic damage,
social media.
Yeah. Kevin, you take 500 psychic damage.
Yeah. GURPS Nest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
GURPS Nest.
I was saying we would lift the sanity rules from Call of Cthulhu, but I am that guy. I loved 3rd edition GURPS. I played that messy bitch of a role-playing game system for years. And I almost exclusively did homebrew set of things, but I did use the Reign of Steel one, which, if you know what that is, that was basically if you played in the war segments of the Terminator 1 and 2 movies. And I guess Terminator Salvation, who cares? Sorry. GURPS was so messy and so good. There's 2 things I'll never forget about it. One was that it had rules for cinematic nudity, which was hilarious. Of course, the more nude you got, the harder it was to hit you. Why not? And the other thing was also the hit location table was definitely, I assume accidentally, unintentionally weighted so that the left leg would get hit like 70% of the time. And it just led to my players' characters like being like, yeah, so I walk around with my like leather armor or regular ass shirt and pants, and my leg encased in titanium. My left leg. Let's make that clear. So that'll take the tank shot or whatever that comes later, and will, statistically speaking, hit me there.
Oh my God.
I do like the idea actually of a DCC module. I won't lie. I do have a few shame pages of unrealized DCC modules that I want to write, and they're almost exclusively funnels. I love funnels. I have a long-running DCC IRL campaign, And what I did at the very beginning was I was like, I don't want to just do one funnel. I'm going to do a dungeon uterus. And so it was like a pair of funnels, and then like each one would like fire people down, but then they would see the shape here, go into one funnel. Like survivors from the 2 funnels would go into the 3rd funnel, and then just like then be birthed out into the campaign. Anyway. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It allowed us to mix a whole wacky selection of characters together.
I used to write content
Beyond
for
the 70s film one. Sorry?
Oh, I was just going to say I used to write content for Shadow of the Demon Lord, the RPG. And if you ever look at the Shadow of the Demon Lord logo, it's like a sort of skull demon head thing. But someone once referred to it as the angry uterus. And I now can never unsee that, because just the way the demon horns look, and then they sort of come down into a round sort of shit. It's a demon skull, but it's also an angry uterus. So, uterus the RPG.
Well,
See, this is the reason why people come to support you at Sword and Sorcery.
Exactly. We're really breaking new ground here.
So, unless there's any last questions
pushing.
From the crowd,
I think we're just about near the end of what we were planning.
we want to thank everybody who's come forward. Yeah. We got
I think 10 minutes left. Who wants to ask something has, but just last call anybody. You got the 3 of us. I'm certainly very loopy. You could ask me anything. I'm sure I'd give some kind of goddamn answer.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions about how the rest of the campaign is going to go? Is there anything? Even it can be just like a technical thing, like how does this add-on work? Like, I'm down. You've got me. I'm on the line. What's the line from Frasier? I'm listening. What am I going to do with the salad and eggs here? Toss salad and eggs. Liber would be proud. Yeah, well, especially which era of Liber? I love him, but man. Okay, I'm just going to go on record. We're in the last 9 minutes now. Who cares? It's no holds barred. I love Fritz Leiber. I actually could see myself writing a historical profile of him the way we've had them for like Saunders and so forth, because I don't want to prioritize the names that always get discussed, but at some point it would be weird if we never discussed Liber, for example. So Jay and I have talked about this. Liber is so good and so bad, and so like good ideas, bad execution, all depending on where you are in his 60 years was it 60? Did he? I'm thinking of Moorcock with Elric, actually 61 years. How long was Liber at it? Like I think it was 50 odd years, right?
Yeah, like Moorcock has him beat now just because he's lived longer.
Yeah,
but I mean, he from the 30s to about the 80s.
Yeah, and then he died in 91 or something, right? But
91, 92, something like that.
But he published from the 30s to the 80s easily.
Yeah, so let's just ballpark at 50. Thank you, Jay. So let's ballpark at 50 odd years. Okay. So I'm going to answer that question in 2 seconds. Liber really, really, really needs a best of anthology that is carefully chosen to represent, I would argue, the whole era of Fafnir Grandmaster, the whole career. Because the late ones, I think it took big brass balls or a very angry brass uterus, let's not be exclusive here, to take his characters that were known for being in Lankmar and for the last 2 books be like, and pull them out and have them move to somewhere else, like fantasy, not Iceland, and to age characters up and have them change in ways that was so unusual and still is in Sword and Sorcery. I think there's a lot of really cool promise and daring mixed in with, unfortunately, some of that weird, like, old straight man horniness that like snuck into a lot of works in the 80s and earlier, and probably later that I'm just not aware of or thinking of right now. Yeah, just those last 2 books are just so like violently off kilter. I mean the duology of it. I love that you keep getting more and more like mirrored pairings of Fafnir Master. It's hard to mention all of them without being spoilers, but there's the assassins, and then there's their loved ones that kind of become their long term love interests, and there's their like the 2 guys they pick up. Anyway, I don't want to spoil stuff. Whatever. Liber. He needs a carefully chosen collection, and he needs a profile on him written by me. So maybe that'll happen eventually. Anyway, for heaven's sakes, to the actual question on the screen, Oliver. will there ever be opportunities for people to submit stories to any future projects? Yes. I honestly don't have concrete plans for that yet, but I have known from the start with doing the magazine that I wanted to take a page from the most excellent Tales from the Magician's Skull, edited by Howard Andrew Jones, who him and his magazine have been a huge inspiration to us, and actually he coined the term New Age Sword and Sorcery. I've talked about that so much elsewhere. I'm going to leave that story out for tonight, but we use that term with his blessing. Yeah, what they did with Tales of the Magician's Skull was they did his issue 0 and then 6 issues that were all like we're doing commissioned, right? People Howard knew that he really wanted to have in the magazine, or he'd heard of, depending. I don't know the whole story there, but there were commissions. I know that. And then when he was getting to planning issue 7 onward, they opened up to submissions once. I hope it happens again. That was years ago now. They bought so many stories that they haven't been open to submissions ever again, but they were open to submissions. Yeah, they got a whole mess of stories. They're still publishing now, and I presume they'll open for submissions again at some point when they need more stories. And I think that's cool to do because it meant that, I'm presuming Howard and I haven't talked about this at any length, but presuming on his part and knowing from my part thus far, it makes the magazine a little less stressful. It's because it just is less work to do commissions. It just is than doing slush pile. And also it helps you really have a little more control over establishing the voice of the magazine, so that by the time you go to open submissions, people will be like, all right. I mean, those who care to learn, we all know people often submit without even looking at the name of the publication. But for those who care to pay attention to what they're submitting to, they will have read enough of the magazine, hopefully, to be like, okay, I get what they're doing. I get their vibe. So my hope is that when we do open submissions, whether it's for issue 7, like Howard did with Skull, or later, I don't know, but my ballpark right now is probably 7, so I know that's a long way away. That's like 2026, the rate we're going. Yeah, we will open submissions at some point for that, because it's something I do want to at least try. The other thing is, this anthology we have coming up is commissioned again, but if we do another anthology, then I will do open subs, I promise, for that anthology. So yeah, it's something I want to try. I'm very trepidatious about it. Maybe I'm just a big baby, sorry. But yeah, absolutely, subs will happen at some point, and when they do, we will be very loud about it, and we will make sure to give people a lot of warning. We're not going to be like, hey, it's in 2 weeks, So yes, that will happen at some point. And then for the novellas, also a possibility. Again, we're going to start commissioning with a few authors that I know that I really want to try it out with. But I can absolutely, positively, possibly even before the magazine, see us having kind of a pitching process. So not sending me a whole novella manuscript, but sending me maybe a sample first chapter, along with a 1-page outline kind of thing, something like that. Yeah, so that also could happen. Yeah, all right. I think I answered that, and we're at 8:57, and we're at $11,114 with 242 backers. I love it. That must be 63% or something. Who wants to do some math?
Yeah. As always, the best way to end is with math.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Math and horny was the combination I believe we described earlier.
63.69%. Math and horny.
63.69.
Nice. Yeah, you thought I was joking, Kevin? You thought I would joke about something so serious?
It's fractionally nice.
of the way there.
So want to thank everybody who's attended the chat, pledged, especially today. Yeah. This has been a wonderful, wonderful day.
Yes.
And we got 30 days to unlock all sorts of things. So please tell your friends, run up to total strangers on the street, whatever.
Yeah, I know it. I know it sounds corny. I know everybody's doing it, but it's one of those things you can't not say it, because it is always going to be true. Backing us is fantastic, and telling other people is also fantastic. Whether it's sharing through those community things that we linked to earlier as a way of helping unlock free short stories for everybody to enjoy, or just honking out loud. Well, anywhere and everywhere. An email if you have a newsletter that you do. Anywhere and everywhere it makes sense to do it. Please tell people about this thing, because the better it does, the more we can do. The more we do, the more you get, right? Like I said, there's a stealth lurking unlockable enhancement for the hardcover, burp, he said. And there's other things too that we have just not unleashed yet. We won't unleash until the campaign reaches certain levels, on top of the stuff you've actually seen. Pardon me, I'm burping. We got to get out of here before I really embarrass myself. Have you heard the good word about Sorcery? I mean, she is an SNS character of faith. Another thing that I find remarkable about her that is kind of cool. Oh, hey, Matt Sully's here. By which I mean Matthew John. Don't please. That's his authorial title.
One of our favorite Matts in the Sword and Sorcery fandom.
Yes. One of the top mats in the game.
We got mats, we got gnats, we got everything. But yeah, we sorry, Nathaniel, is that what it is? No, it's Matthew and anyway, I'm being a dork. Sorry. Anyway, yes, Matt John, everybody, for those of you who didn't hear me mutter it earlier, he has a story in Ness, which I don't mind revealing here for fun. So you heard it here first. It's going to be a Lackmanon story, which is his character that has been published in Tales from the Magician's Skull and other locations. Old Moon Quarterly, I think, has a Lackmanon story coming up, if I remember correctly. Anyway, for God's sake, it's 9 o'clock. Let's get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Tell your friends, tell your mother, tell your daughter, tell your grandfather, tell the dead, tell the living. Good night.
Good night, folks. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you so much.